choice, the last stage was the otherwise. So what happens if in otherwise stage, it only stores in the result, all the data is stored in the result.
Correct.
So, so that stage doesn't have to come to the end, connect to the
No,
end stage.
otherwise,
Isn't
suppose you
it?
have, I will yesterday's one I will open. One second. So what happened is, sir, otherwise stage, see, suppose I'm giving some operational value. Okay, if my requirement is not matching with any of these conditions is not meted, then it has to come to the otherwise stage and it will connect to the end. So if we not connected to otherwise to the end, then that will be an exception. Na?
Got
Yeah.
it, got it.
Yeah, exception handling a separate class will be there. So you can know that after 3 sessions, I can see, and after that we'll go for the exception handling.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Pooja.
Pooja, I have a question related to this otherwise choice only.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, yesterday there was a basic session. I mean, that is either we can do addition, subtraction, or multiplication.
Correct.
If I can correlate this scenario with a real-time scenario, I
Okay.
have 3 suppliers, right?
Yes.
I will add supplier data from A, B, and C, and then I will put otherwise stage. It means if I will try to enter any other supplier except A, B, C,
Yeah.
then it gives me an exception error, like this supplier is no longer feeding into the Blue Prism tool if I'm automating certain Excel things. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. And you can do so. You will. There is a default action. So your condition is that you have the 3 conditions. Okay, when 3 conditions are not matching, so that will come to otherwise. So if you want to do some operation,
Your voice is breaking. There is some network issue on your end, I believe. I can't hear you well. I don't know whether it is with me or anybody. I mean, I think
actually this is from you. There is an audio issue there from your side.
Sorry, can't hear you.
Can you rejoin?
Am I? Sorry.
Now it's clear. Okay, suppose your requirement is that I will give the 3 conditions. If 3 conditions are not matching, then if I want to do other action, so you can do perform here. So depending upon the functionality, you have to go for the remaining steps.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
So now your voice is clear, but at times whenever you speak, there is a lot of turbulence. I mean, I don't know whether it is me or anybody is also facing the same issue.
And from your side only that issue is coming. Can you just rejoin? Maybe that may be internet issue or something like.
Pause, I'm checking it again.
Okay. So apart from that, any questions we have? Yesterday we have completed about the link, block, and the decision, choice, calculation, and data item. We have data item and the anchor stage. So remaining, these are the comes under exception handling. So these things we'll discuss it later. So there is a multi-calculation stage. I will discuss. After that, we'll go for some Excel automation use cases. Okay, this is the way we'll create a process. Double click on the process. Yeah, this is the process window. Okay, now I want to discuss about the multi-calculation. Okay, so to explain about the multi-calculation, that okay, there are somewhere where so my use case is now to do addition, subtraction, and the multiplication. The 3 things I need to perform. So basically, what is according to your knowledge? Hello, Pooja.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
No, still there is some noises coming from your end. So I think so there is a bad internet connection or something. I'm not sure.
I can hear you.
Can you just unplug the headset and try it out? Yeah. So now your use case is that you want to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, right? So for that, you have the two inputs and one more the data item for the storing the result of addition, subtraction, and multiplication, right? So three things, five variables we are having now. Number data type. So first data item, which having some value of 506 data 1. So my data 2 item having it's a number type. Why? Because I'm working on the arithmetical operations. So then one more data item called 789. So now my thing is that I need to do addition, subtraction, and the multiplication. So for that, I'm storing the result. I need to have the different result data items. I don't want to store it in the single data item. If I will store the single data item, so what happen? Only one result will be there, right? So so that I want to do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, the different data items. See, suppose if I place only one data item, what will happen if you override the existing value? So we'll do that one as well. Addition, variable 1 plus variable 2, store the value in the result data item. Right, click on OK. So next, so now I'm taking only one result. See what will happen. Subtraction data 1 minus data 2. Then multiplication. Now see, I'm doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, but here I'm storing in the single data item. So result I'm storing here. Here also I'm storing the value in the result. Here also I'm storing value in the result. See what is happening. So we are not using these two variables, only this one I'm using. So I'm running now, refresh, reset. There are two errors. So you have created the data item, but you are not used, not even the data type you have mentioned. That's why there are two errors are there. So no issues. Done. Addition. See subtraction. Now multiplication. See only we have the result multiplication result. Because previous addition and subtraction results are overridden with the one by one. So addition result will be override by the subtraction result, and the subtraction result will override by the multiplication result. Right. So if I want a different, I want to store the data in a different data items. So what I will do? So I need to create the three data items for storing the results. So this is the, I can say add underscore result. So number data type, click on OK. Right. So we know that these are the inputs and these are the outputs.
I have one question.
Yep.
Question is regarding the block. Does block have any means if there are different data items which have different data types?
Right.
Can it be included in a single block?
Yes. Block just it will just gather. Okay, it will just, it's like a layer only. So there will be no functionality with the block. Okay, the separate functionality is there for the exception handling with the help of the block. that after 4 to 5 classes you can count it. This is just for grouping purpose, proper grouping purpose.
Okay.
That's it. Refresh it, reset it. There are 3 errors are there. Why 3 errors means this is a result you are storing that, but the result data item is not existed here. That's why that is giving a 3 errors. Now I need to store the drag and drop. That's it. Drag and drop. Done. Refresh, reset, and then run. See, done. So we got the addition result, subtraction result, multiplying result. So in the real time, what is happening? So for the single operations, you should not use more than one calculation stage for the single use case. Okay, this is why I'm doing addition, subtraction, multiplication. These 3 we can do in the single stage. Okay, that is stage called multi-calculation stage. Okay, more than one multiple operations we can able to perform in the multi-calculation stage. In that one, you can add n number of expressions, like what is multi-calculation stage will work as same as the calculation stage. Okay, so for the in the real time, suppose this is our use case, so we won't take this calculation, so we will take the multi-calculations. Okay, this is also correct only, but for the best practices, so according to the Blue Prism of best practices, so if for the single use case, if you are using more than 2 calculation stages, we have to go for the multi-calculation stage. So this is your multi-calculation stage. So now I will remove all these 3 and I will implement the same logic in a single stage. Double click on it. See, expression store. Expression store. So what is your expression? Click here. See, click this button to open full editor window. Click on that. So one window will open here. So here, data item 1 plus data item 2. Okay, click on validate. So by clicking on the validate, you can check for the syntax errors. Is there any syntax errors are there? So now see, I'm removing the plus and validate it. See, there is an error. Okay, so when we are writing some validations, when we are writing some formulas, first we will check by clicking the validate. Okay, click on open. Then addition result I have to store here. Then I'm adding one more thing. So click here. So one more window will open. So here we need to add data 1 minus data 2 and store the value in result in the third one. Data 1 multiplied by data 2. Store the value in
May I know the name of the stage? It is multi-calculation stage or multi-stage?
multi-calculation stage. I mean, I can normally they'll call multi-stage, but it's having multi-calculation stage. We can multi-calculations. We can do multiple calculations in a single stage. We can add n number of operations we can able to perform. Okay, next concept is just text operation. That time you can come to me. You can okay. And run. See, in a single stage we have done everything. Alright. So this is about the multi-calculation stage. So now I want to any questions here? I need to add any questions? Okay. Right. So now we'll go for the text operations. I'm deleting this. So what is my use case here? So I will get the data. My requirement is that in the mail subject in Outlook, I will get my process will start reading mail from the Outlook. In the Outlook, there is a subject line is there. In the subject line, I have some incident number. I need to take that number, and that number I need to use it in my future browser-based application. I need to take that number and I need to do some other business logic. Okay, my task is to be now. So by using our small video, we can get the subject line that you can future class you can come to know. So my thing is that I have a subject line. From that, I need to trim some value. I need to extract some value. So see here. Something like that. So see here, I need to get this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, A, F, G. This is my incident number. So this is my input. So I need to extract the only number from it. Why? Because this number I will use in my future purpose. Okay, that may be that may be entering this particular value to in some browser-based application. So that is my separate business logic is there. So just my requirement is that here. So I need to extract that particular number from the given input. After this symbol, what is the value is there? I need to extract it. That is my requirement. See how we gonna achieve the same. Input data. So this is your input data.
I don't understand what is my incident number. Is this something
No.
email or tagline or what?
So I am creating one use case. Okay. And now I want to tell you about some text operations for you guys. So text operations, in the real time we will use n number of text operations. But not only this, there are somewhere like we have to get some. There is some data is there. Like that, there is an input, we will get it from somewhere. So you have to extract this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So these kind of operations, there are lots, not only this one, there are somewhere from the text you have to extract it. Some after the text is there. So after at the rate, there is another text is there. So you want to extract it after at the rate symbol. So there are some text operations. Okay. There are lots of text operations will come in the while you go developing in the real time. So depending upon that, I will cover all the text operations what we may get in the real time. So whenever completely this small task won't come. Okay, this input you will get it from the mail. Otherwise, that one you will get it from the application. So yesterday we have seen one application like order system. In order system 1, in the final page, see, I'll open that application. You can come to know. I will show you. Some application specific also will be there. So see here, in the pop-up you are getting, please note of your order reference number 689. Okay, so my requirement is to be, so I need to extract only 689 from it, not complete text. Okay, but according to the Blue Prism perspective, so I can able to extract it complete number first. Okay, I can't take this particular 689 from it directly by using a spying operations. So what I will do, I will take the entire data, then after that I will do my text operations. Okay, so this kind of challenges you may face in the real time. Okay, and one more thing, and these kind of questions will come in the 801 examination. Okay, there is a certification will be there. So for the Blue Prism, so if you have a certification, that will be added more advantage in the interview as well. So I'm professional certified. I have done the developer as well as professional. So from the text operations, you will get some 3 to 4 questions directly from the text operation in 801 examination. $65 is there for the examination cost. You can see the certification like. I got some 93 percentage in the 8001. So this is the one which I have written in some 2017 distinction. So if you get 90 plus, so they'll give the distinction class. So this is the first level of certification. Okay, there are some 3 to 4 certification will be there. So first is the basic 8001, the second one is the professional, and the third one is the solution. So most of the solution design certification will be written by the BA candidates. Okay, for the developer, professional, and after that architect only. Okay, I'm planning for architect after 3 to 4 months. Actually, I'm doing some mainframes automation. Okay, if that will work, then I have covered all the applications. So I'm waiting for it. So this is my professional certification. So 8001, APD01, yes, it's the professional. Oh, so every exam $65 will be there, 60 questions will be there. So 70 is the pass percentage, 70% is the pass percentage. Okay, if you want to write the professional exam, you should have knowledge on mainframes application, Java, browser-based applications, and window-based applications. So complete best practices. There are 10 questions will come with the best practices. Professional will be the tough, but 8001 you guys can clear if you follow the same. I mean, I have the dumps as well. Okay, I will provide the dumps. Recently, there are some 10 people have written in from my last batch. So there are some 4 to 5 people have the 4 to 5 people are they cleared the exam. They written some last few batches also. So they in the same WhatsApp groups everybody will be there. So there I will post all the job openings and interview questions. Whatever I will get the knowledge in the group is my huge share. Okay, and this is about the certification. Okay, anyway, I will explain about the certification things later before finishing our last class. So 8001 you can clear it, so that will be very easy. So if you, the 8001 like all the basic stages. Suppose you have seen the multi calculations thing and some choice stages. So they will give some condition. What is an output for that? Okay, so those kind of small questions they will ask you. So see, this is my input now. So I want to extract a number from it. So that is my use case. So for that, I will take calculation stage first. So see here, as I told you, okay, this is my first calculation stage. So here you can see in the left side there are the functions are there. Some text functions, number functions, logic functions, and the file exceptions, environment, and the date. So data, so convergence. So everything will be there. So we will use depending upon our requirement. So now I need to work on some text operations, right? So I will check the text. So see, these are the text functions we have. Okay, we will see one by one. Okay, so len is the function is there. Len. By using the len function, we can find the length. Okay, what is the input? Suppose whatever the data we have given, so if we count the length, see how it will work. So click on the length. So right side there is a box is there. So here you will drag and drop the data item which one you want to measure it. So click on paste and here. And one more thing I need to add here. So here is the store result in, right? So you can create the data item, you can drag and drop it. Otherwise, here also you can able to create. You can write. So see here, click here to automatically create a data item of required type using the name in this field. Okay, if you click here directly, the data item is going to be created. See, number data type, it has created. You can create the data item, you can drag and drop it. Otherwise, you can directly create in the calculation stage itself. So everything is the fine. Okay, now this it will find the total length. I will run. See, this is the 31. So there are 31. By using the length function, so I find the length, how many characters are there in the input file. So I found it now. So there are 31.
Can you please explain that one more time? I don't understand the logic of measuring the length of the text.
Oh, which one? Can you ping me, Pooja? So I can't able to hear your voice. There is lots of noise coming. So can you otherwise do one thing? Can you join from the mobile? You can join from the mobile as well. So in the Prem has shared one mail now regarding the same. So there is from mobile also you can able to connect. So you can join from mobile as well. So there you may get a proper audio.
Then you just wait for me for 2 minutes. Then is that okay with all of you?
Yeah. You can go ahead. Then we'll wait for you, Moish. Any questions are there up to so far? Any questions? You can resize it. You can change the font. You can add the color. Everything you can do. And here, how my logic I'm going to implement is. So let her join. So from the total length I will find. After that I will find this symbol. So from this symbol I can able to extract this particular text. That's my logic I'm going to implement.
Hello.
Yeah,
I have
any,
one. Yeah, I have
yes.
one question. Regarding the data type you created in the calculation stage only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens if how do we calculate different data types? Like we have to calculate in dates or binary or any text. How?
Yes, I will tell you. So this is the target. Now here we are finding the length, right? So length means it has stored in the number. So Blue Prism direct it will take. So here as they will mention, click here to automatically create a data item of the required type using the name in this field. Means they already what is the result. It has to store the proper data type they will give.
Okay.
Okay, what is the name you can give it, so that data item automatically get created.
So
Yep.
what are the logic you are saying that how to extract the number from the text? What are your basic logic?
So basic logic means, so this I complete the length, I will find it out first. Okay. So after that, I will, this symbol is there now. So my reference is this symbol. I don't know whether it's starting with a 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. That I don't care. So my reference is after my incident number. So this is symbol is there. So this symbol is my reference. I will find out this position of the symbol. Right. I will get some X. Okay. Some number is there. So after that, I will complete total length minus this symbol position. If I delete it, then I will get the exact one, right? So that is my logic. Complete length minus this particular length. You'll get the remaining data. So that is the logic I'm going to implement.
So this can be done using the spying also, no?
No, spying. Why will spy? Yeah, only objects only will spy. Spying means what are the things we gonna spy? We will spy the applications, or like browser-based applications, window-based applications, like PDF applications, and Citrix-based applications. So these applications only will spy. Okay, this text out operations, everything we will implement the logic. And the one thing is that if you implemented one text logic, this has to work for any random input. So I don't know whether this will come some 10 digits. There are sometimes it will come from 4 digits only. So it has to handle. That is how I will implement the logic. You can give any random input. It has to handle. Because in the real time, the dynamic values will come, right? So instant number sometimes on 10 digits. Sometimes after few years, it will increase the number. So you can't take the number. Hardcode values you should not take in the Brucism. You have to take all the dynamic. So whatever the code you have implemented, it has to work for any random input. Okay. See, anyways, we are recording the session, so she will see the recordings and don't waste my time. Why? Because yes. So this is my input. So my thing is that I want to extract it some number. So after this symbol, I need to extract the number. So this number will have the 10 digits, 5 digits. There are some 8 digits. So I don't know how much this will come. So my code has to handle. So first there is an operation we are seeing now. So this is the text operations, right? These are the text operations. So we have done with the length. Okay. Now one more input, that spaces. So there are some spaces there. Consider. See, these are the spaces are there. The right side, there are some spaces are there. So how to remove the spaces? Click on OK. For remove the spaces also, we have separate functions are there. There is an option called trim. By using the trim, we can able to remove the spaces. By using the trim function, we can able to remove the spaces. Okay, by using the trim function, we can able to remove the spaces. And you can see trim start, trim end. Means by using the trim function, we can able to remove the spaces from the left side and right side of the text. Trim end means it will only trim the spaces from the right side. Trim start means it will only remove the spaces from the start. Okay, anything you can use it. So depending upon your functionality. In the real time, whenever you work in the text operations, we will trim it. Why? Because so there are suppose in the mainframes and all, when we read the values from the mainframes and all, there are some extra spaces may come. So before that, for the best practice, first we will trim it from left and right. Then I will get the exact text. After that, I will work on the text. Okay, click on the trim, input data, paste, and I will store the value in the output. You can see here. So directly it is going to create the text data type. See text. Because this data type is text, right? So it automatically created. Click on OK. Refresh, reset, and so on. Done. Now without spaces. Right? No spaces are there. So input having the spaces, right? So now there are no spaces are there. So you can do one thing if you want to find the exact difference. So you will store the value in the same input data. Okay. So I am doing the trimming the operations and I am storing the data in the same data item. So that also you can do. So that time you can come to know the exact difference. See now. So this is your input data with the spaces. Now see there are no spaces. All right. So these are about the text operations. No join still. So I will connect her if there are any questions. Join. Hello, Pooja?
Hello?
Yes, yes.
I can hear you now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, did you explain anything, or should we start from the length?
You start from the length, no issues. Just I explained about the trim operations. By using the trim
Okay.
operations, we are going to remove the spaces.
What is this, Tim?
Trim means it will remove the spaces. Suppose this is my input. So see my input data having the spaces, right? So before there are some spaces are there, right? So spaces, extra space are there. So my requirement is to be I need to remove the spaces. So for that I have used one function called trim.
Okay.
Okay, if I run, you can observe. See, with the spaces, without spaces. And see, I'm storing the value in the same data item. Input is my data item, and I'm storing the value in the same data item. Okay. The noise. Okay. Now I will go for the next operation. So these kind of questions will come in AD01. Some small
No,
basic.
no, no. I have a question regarding trim. As we understand that you want to remove the spaces
Yes.
before this text, right?
Yes. Before.
So, on what basis will this tool understand that how many spaces it has to remove?
So that is the internal functionality. It will check for the spaces. Is there any spaces are
Okay.
there before the text? Whenever they find any letter, then it will skip. So up to here,
Okay.
so now I will add more spaces. See, Prism will understand. That is the backend code. So no need to code anything. Just we have to use the functions because they already written the code in the backend. Just the functions you have to use.
Okay. And what about length? What is the logic for you measuring length?
Length means there is a direct function is there. Len. So see, there's a text len function is there. So drag and drop the text which one you want to measure the length, and I click on paste. And here you will store the length. So there is a data item already there. So I will drag and drop it. So now it will find the length and it will store the data in the length data item. Click on OK.
But what is the logic?
Logic means it will count the how many digits are there. So this one having 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many digits are there? Everything it will count and it will paste in the data item. Length. So why we need the length means you will come to know in the next few minutes. So in the logic I want to implement that thing. So this is my logic, right? So I want to get this particular number after that particular symbol, right? So that may be in the 10 digits, that may be 5 digits. I don't know how much digits is having that particular input. Okay, my use case is to be I need to get after incident number colon. So what is the data is there? I need to extract it. But that number I need to use for future. But there is another use case is there. So where I will require this number. So this kind of scenarios we have to implement the text operation. Okay, you can okay. Now a length is there, so you can run and check. See there the 46. Why 46 is there? So these all of the spaces are there, right? So because of the spaces, so this is why we have to remove the spaces. I didn't remove the spaces. So I didn't remove the space. So that's why there are the 46 characters are there. It was shown. So that's why we have to do trim before we're gonna work on text operations, right? So now first I will do trim. Stage by stage we'll see. Text and the trim. And take input data, paste. So I will paste the data in the input data in the same data item itself. Click on OK. So this will do the trim. So after that, I will find the length. Total length. So for that, there is a function is there, len. So input data, paste. So I want to store the data in the len, right? So first I'm trimming that operation. So after that I'm finding the length. So what is my use case? How I'm going to do is, so first I will find this position. Okay, this position, this particular symbol is there now. So after colon I need to get the data. So first I will find the length. First I will find the position of the colon, and from the total length I will remove this particular data. So that is remaining one is my output, right? That is my logic I'm going to implement now. Click on OK. So refresh it. So I will run these two changes and I will check. So there's a 23 is there. So it has removed the space. Right. So after that, what is my requirement? I need to find a particular this position, right? This position I need to find out. So for that we have a function is there. So everything is available in the text functions. So for that, in string is the function. In string is nothing but, so what is, there are some special characters, otherwise there are some special letter. So which position you want to know? If you want to know the special character position in the particular given input, you can come to know by using the in string operation. So we have the position, right? We need to find the particular colon position. So same thing I'm going to implement now. Text operations, input data. What is your which position you want to find out? I need to find out this particular symbol position. This particular symbol position from the given input. You can come to know by taking this in string operation. By using the in string operation, we can come to know the position of the given input. Okay, this is my input. So this position I want to find out. This is the required position. So namings you can give whatever you want. Okay, now I got the required position now. So now what I will do, I want to find the required length. So total length minus required position is my required length. So same, these are the steps are common for extracting the string from the given input. These steps are
So
common.
now, can we use instir for multiple? For example, in this text, fortunately, we have only one special letter.
Yes.
But at times it happens we have multiple special letters. So
Yes.
can we use instir command for one special letter each time, or multiple things?
Okay, I will tell you. So in string will work. It will from the start. What is the position is there? Suppose after that there's one more special character is there, so it won't take. It will take the first from the left. It will calculate. From the left side it will start searching. Okay, from the left side whenever we find the symbol, so that position will give us first symbol position. If we want to find the from the right side, if you want to find it, there is a separate logic is there. So that from the next class you can see. This is better.
So for example, for example, you want 1, 2, 3, 4 as a reference number. You don't want spaces. For that you have used trim. You want to measure the length, you have used len. But now before 1, 2, 3, 4, there is only one letter which is special colon, and then we'll use instir. So it will concentrate only on the left before 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Right. You know why I'm finding that one. The next step you can come to. Actually, how my logic I want to implement. So I want to find the total length first. Okay. From the total length, I will find this position, right? So this position length I also am getting. So total length minus this position is equal to required data, right? So that is my logic. Total length minus this position. From this position, I will remove this one. So remaining is my required data. And it will work for all the dynamic input, random inputs. I will give the random inputs after this logic. You can count on.
My question is regarding the index of the special character. So what happens? It starts from 0 or 1. Because in programming it starts with 0.
1.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, it's 1. So now required length. Okay, but how we will find out? So total length minus Required position is the required length. So I haven't created any data item for the required length. So what happened? I'm creating the data. I'm writing the name of the data item. So I'm clicking here. So this will create the automatically that particular type and that particular name, whatever we have mentioned in this field. So click here. So required length automatically came. Okay. So after that, I will do extract it the text. So now I find the length, required length. I got it. So see here. I will take one more calculation stage. Text operation. So here we will have the 3 to 4 functions are there. Left. So it will take the values from the start. So right means it will take the values from the right side. Left side, the right side. Mid means in between points it will take. Okay. So we will one by one we'll see. So I will take the right function now. From the right, how many digits we will get? So that many digits will come out. Okay. So that is how the right function will work. You see, I will implement the same. So I'm clicking the right function. So for that we have to pass the input, and we got the required length, right? Paste. This will I'm storing in the output. See, if there is any modification, you have to make it. So I will just run and I will check whether the logic is working fine or not. See, my output is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Hold on. I will change the input. I will give the random input now. So my logic has to be after number. It has to take entire digits. Okay. After that symbol, it has to get the data. This is my instant number. Consider. It has to work for any random input. See, it does work. So I will remove everything. I will give only 2 digits. It has to work. What is after symbol? What is the data is there? And you to extract it. Only 2 digits are there now. See what will happen. 1, 2. If it is only single digits also, it has to get 9. Any random input it has. This logic will work for extracting the given input.
What happens when there is a space between the numbers?
There is a space between. It will come as this.
Okay.
So it will come as this. Why? Because that is there. I mean, my logic is
Where we can remove the spaces between
in
numbers.
between we can't remove. In between, I mean, in between we can remove. I will tell you how it will be. So there is a replace function is there that will replace spaces with the null spaces. So that also we can perform. So now see. See, it's spaces. So you want to remove the spaces in between the text. So what I will do, there's the replace function is there. Replace function, it will replace this. If you give this one character, so I want to replace the spaces with the nothing, right? So that is like replace, suppose capital A with a small a with a capital A. So I want to replace with some @ symbol to other symbol. So these things you can able to perform by using the @ symbol, by using the replace function. So I will give the output is my input. So I want to remove with spaces with right. So I will store the data in the same data item. I will restart. Refresh, then I will run. See, got it. Any questions?
Could
Like
you please go back to extract data?
extract data.
It should be right input data.
So we have functions are there to extract it. So right is there, left is there, mid is there. So depending upon a use, you can use it. So I can use the mid function also here. Mid means so from start to end. So right means so from the here how many digits will give. So that much text will come out from the given input. So suppose I will take another page.
But again, there is a logic of choosing right or left, because 1, 2, 3, 4, you are choosing towards left towards right, right?
Yes, towards right. Why? Because I want to get the right data, right? So at the end, what is the data is there? I want to get it. That's why I have taken the right.
No, it's because your reference number is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
and you need in the same pattern. That is the reason you have chosen left, right?
Right.
I mean left.
Right.
No, you have chosen left because you want the data from 1, 2, 3, 4 that starts from 1. It means it starts from the left.
Means my controller will start, as I told you, my instance number. This is my given input, right? So M is my start. This is the left. From the right is my port. This is the right side. This is the left side, right? So that is how the controller will work. You can see, you will have it.
No, if you select 4, 3, 2, 1, then it has to be from the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the right. That is the reason you have chosen right. That is my question.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because your reference number is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you need it the same way. That is the reason it is mandatory that you have to choose right.
Right.
But for example, but left command is not applicable in your scenario, use case scenario, wherein you need the same reference number 1, 2, 3, 4. So it means we understand that you are explaining basic things, but again, there has to be a threshold that we need to define some rules, because for example, if the reference number starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have to use it the right command. In this case, left command has of no use, though we understand the logic, but based on the use case scenario which you have taken here, left command is no longer in use, right?
Yes.
This is a rule. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, so I have one question.
Yeah.
So like in this scenario that we have taken, we have only one symbol, one colon.
Yes.
So we take that as a reference and we process the data.
Correct.
So
Correct.
do we have functions like, let's say if you have 2 semicolons by just in case. So
Okay.
or how do you handle two semicolons? Like let's say both are adjacent, like next to each other.
Next to each other means suppose like this.
Yeah.
So consider your instance like this. So what happened? So for that we can able to do. So there is an in-string. Suppose we are taking an in-string, right? So there is a function called in-string reverse. So it will search from the left side. So left side is symbol, and it will process it. There is an in-string reverse function is there. By using the in-string reverse function, we can able to extract the data from the left side. Now this in-string will start fetching the data from the left to right, and the in-string will start fetching the data from right to left.
And as soon as they encounter the first instance of the number, the symbol, it will stop, right?
Yes, it will stop. It will stop. It won't go to next.
Okay.
Yeah.
In-string reverse. Okay.
So in-string reverse you can't find in here. Okay, there is another VBO we have to import it. So I will tell you while we are importing the VBO sender. This text function, there is a separate VBO is there. So that one we can able to we have to import that one, and we have to use the functions.
Sorry, what is it again? VBO?
VBO. I will tell you. There is a now we are gonna work on some Excel automation. Then you can come to what is the VBO and what it contains and all. End of the session you can come to me.
Okay, now tell me one thing. Your reference number is, I'm just giving you an inflated scenario.
Yes.
1:1. That is your reference number, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, I understand we have used trim, we have used total length, and all, right? But
Mhm.
now we have to identify the special character, which is 1:1. That is 1:1. So it means then we have to implement this instance function between 1:1, right? Then it identifies. So then your reference number will be 11.
Correct.
Then how can we, I mean, is that the correct logic? Because you don't want 1:1, you want 11. So how, I mean, is it possible that we can remove the special character between
Oh,
two ones?
yeah, we can do replace, na? I will do it. Suppose your see, so see everything, there is a documentation from the PDD. They will tell us. So this is the
Hmm.
input you will get it from that one. You have to extract this number. You have to paste this
Hmm.
number somewhere. So everything will be documented. Everything will be sequential. Okay. Once we have coded, suppose this is my logic I have implemented. So after that, they want some changes. Then it has to come with all the documents. They have to update the PDD. Then the developer will work. Okay. Now your use case is that. So 1:1 is there. So see, I will run it and I will show it now.
Hmm.
So you want 11. So your input is 1:1. So you want to get 11 output. See, it will work.
Hmm.
I will replace with the symbol. Refresh, then run. See, this is what
So
you want.
we have simply removed the colon between two ones.
Correct.
And what did you see? Because I'm seeing on the iPhone, so probably I can't see the screen properly at times.
Anyway, I will
The
show the video. Okay. If you have any questions, you directly ping me. No issue.
Okay, but what did we have? What did you do? It is replace output.
Replace. I'm replacing with the symbol with the nothing.
Okay, that is replace. Then this remove and then nothing. Okay,
Yes.
okay, got you.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah. Here we have various functions available under the text
Yes.
heading, right? Here you have used few of the functions like length and all. So just in case I want to have a custom functions over there, can I place that custom functions, build my custom functions and place it?
Correct. You can place it. There is a separate, after this text operation, there another VBO is there. We have to import it. There we have another actions. So I will take this an action stage. By using the action stage, we can able to interact with the object studios. In the object studio, whatever the objects are there, you can able to interact by using the stage. Okay. As I told you, after this, there is another VBO is there. So VBO is nothing but, so everything they have coded from the backend. So just we have to use the functions. So utility strings are there. Utility strings. So here you can find the remaining operations. So split by line, split text, incat, so in string reverse. So all the functions are there. So if these functions also you not require, you want another functions, you can able to write the code stage. So that is a code stage in the object studio that I will tell you after, that is the last before class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mean to say that you have custom developed these functions and integrated those things with this?
Correct. We can do here. We can integrate.
Okay.
So all those functions need to be developed in only a particular language, or any language is
VB
fine.
script is there. VB script, C#, and J#.
Okay.
But everything is there. I mean, I have from my experience from last 3 years, there are 30 parts I developed. But I told I have used only 2 or 3 stages. Here are 3 code stages with the VB script. Okay, that is for this macros. I have used it. That is from my client requirement. Okay, from my company perspective, I didn't even use it. Okay, so what happened when you use the C#? There are some packages we have to import it. If suppose there are libraries are there, right? .dll files, data link library files. So you have to import it, those data link libraries. Those things, nobody client will encourage that. Why? Because in the VM, moving the DLLs from there to here, that will, are typical for the client. So they will tell in the Blue Prism perspective only you have to implement it.
So like most of the times we have to use the default ones that is available in the Blue Prism.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you please explain what exactly you are discussing regarding the customization thing?
Customization means, so there are some operations are there, right? So there are some operations are there. These are the text operations. So
Yeah.
so your requirement is not meeting with any operations here, any function here. Then you have to write your own customized code.
Okay.
Okay. So that code you have to write in the Object Studio and you have to call it to the process. That is what we're discussing. So, but there are clients they won't allow. Why? Because if you are writing the code stage, there are DLLs you have to import it. There are lots of things you have to do if you do the code stages. So most of the use cases, everything will get sorted out with the Blue Prism functions itself. Okay. So see, I want to find there is input is there.
So is it advisable that we can go for customization, or
No.
what your experience says that we have to stick with within the functionality of the Blue Prism?
So within the Blue Prism only, any client also will tell, why? Because so our bots has to deploy in the VMs, okay, virtual machines, correct? So suppose if you have used the code stage, okay, there are some code stages will require some DLS, data link libraries, right? So that one you have to import it, okay, in the VM and everything configuration, they have to make a lot of configurations, DLLs they have to import and everything. So there are some clients they won't agree, okay. From my experience, I'm saying I didn't even use it. From the freelancing perspective, right? Because I'm working from US projects, me and my team working from US projects in the big days. So those projects, I have got one scenario with the macro. So there I have used the code stage, VB script for the 2 lines. To protect, there is a worksheet is there. So Excel worksheet, I need to hide it. So the other function is there, so I need to lock it with the password and all. So that time I have used the code stage for 2 lines. So see here, now you want to extract it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 after @ symbol. So what is your logic? Simple. Only one place you have to change it. Where? Here. That's it. Everything is the same. So this replace function is not required. Why? Because I don't want to replace anything with this use case. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why? Because only same functionality. Only here only I have changed. Why? Because before the colon is there, now @ is there. Apart from nothing changes. Right? So now we have to go for the next scenario. Any questions? Before going to the next scenario, next is a very important. So how to pass on variables from one stage to another. So I'm creating a separate process for it. So here, so my requirement is to be, so this is called the page reference stage. Okay, in the real time, what we'll do, in the main page, there is a high level flow is there. So everything logics, whatever we're implementing, so everything will be done by the sub pages. And one process can have n number of sub pages. One process can have n number of sub pages. One process can have n number of sub pages. Okay, in the real time, in the my main page having high level flow, but everything logics I will implement in the sub page. That is the best practice. Why? Because everything logic, if you implement in the single page, so troubleshooting will be get tougher. Then all the logics will be there in a single page. You suppose is there any CRs will come. CRs means change request. there are some enhancement logics will come for the existing code, so that will also get tougher. You can't able to exception handling also will won't work properly. So according to groupism best practices, we have to implement the logic in the sub pages, and we will call all the sub pages from the main page. I'm repeating. So I will implement the logic in the sub pages. I will call it from the main page. Okay, reading the values, writing the values, parsing the values, everything I can do. So here now I'm going to implement a simple logic. I will do the addition of the two numbers in the sub page. From the main page, I will pass the two variables, and that sub page is going to give one result to me. So how we going to pass it from page to page, and how we going to extract the data? So that I'm going to tell you now. So why? Because in the every day I will explain the same concepts. Page reference is there one stage. So I will create the logic in the sub page, and I will call it from the main page. So while you guys also practicing it, from day one onwards, you will practice like this. So that will be very helpful when you are getting to the real time project.
Can you please let me know how can we create multiple pages? I'm sorry.
So, here right click, new, name, right click, new, give the name, right click, new, like that.
Okay.
Right click, new, right. So in the main page, we'll have only high level flow. You should not create entire flow in the main page. Okay, everything should be there in the sub flows, and main page will have the high level flow. So as I told you, I want to do. You can rename it. I'm renaming it addition. Okay. So first I will implement the logic in the addition page. After that, I will call it from my main page, right? So for the addition, I require two data items, correct? So same thing, whatever we have done before, so same thing I'm going to do it here now.
Two data items.
And one data item for the storing the result.
3.
Number.
Data 1 plus data 2 result.
Yeah. Number. Right. You can work. So I will implement the logic here. So I will take the calculation stage. Data 1 plus data 2, and I will store the value in the result data item. Then okay. Refresh. Reset.
Run.
Okay. Now I will okay. So guys, please mute yourself when you are not asking any questions like that.
स्टंट दिखाता था उसके दोस्त कह रहे हैं यार ये काम करो ही ना ये कोई काम होता है
main page and the addition page, right? So see here, I need to, as I told you, from main page I will call the sub page, and from the I will pass the two data values from the main page, and from the sub page I'm going to get the result, right? So for that there is a stage called page reference stage. Okay, this is the page reference stage. Just drag and drop it. So when you drag and drop the page reference stage, you can see the one pop up here. So see, there are the three options are there here. So first is the create a reference to an existing page. So add a new page and create a reference to it. So we already created the page, right? So I will select the first option. Click on next. This is the addition page, right? So click on next, finish. So automatically the name, whatever we have given in the tab, so that name will come here directly. See here. Right, now connect it. Right. So see here, suppose there are some values are here. 1, 2, 3, something. So run. So it called the main page call, and it has done the result, and it will come to the main page. So my logic is not like this. So I need to pass the inputs, right? These are the input, right? So I need to pass the input from the main page, and I need to get this result to my main page. So for that, what we will do? So we have to create the input parameters and output parameters. So here, so this page will require the two inputs. Okay, whenever your sub page will require the inputs, so those variables you have to create in the start. Double click on the start. This requires two variables, right? So I'm creating the two input parameters. Number. So is a variable 1, variable 2, and the store the value. So I want to store the value in the data 1 and the data 2. So these values I'm getting from my main page, right? So from the main page, I'm passing the values, and here I'm storing the values in the data 1 and the data 2, right? So you want to send some data from here to main page. So you want to send us some data from here to main page. So those variables you have to get in the end. If you want to send something from your page, you have to get the end. If you require some inputs from other pages, so those things you have to get in the start. Okay, and I'm creating variables.
No, I have a question. I'm confused a little bit.
Yep.
The previous one which you taught, page, main page, and then you have created sub pages, right?
Yes.
And then you put you have taken 3 data items, data 1, data 2, then addition. That's something I understand.
Correct.
But then you explained that the same page, I mean the addition page, the
Correct.
output, the results which you are getting, you want to publish those results into the main page.
Correct.
So how can you import from the addition page to the main page? That was my first question.
So that is my, actually I didn't even started. I'm explaining the same thing only. So I'm in between something, you have interrupted me.
No. I'm sorry. An addition,
Correct, madam. So I started, okay. So as I told you, this page, whenever your sub page will require some inputs, so those variables you have to get in the start stage. So and you want to send some data to your main page. Then you want to send the data to your main page, and those variables you have to create in the end. I have created the variable in the end. Now come to the main page and refresh the page and double click on the addition, and you can check. See, it will require the two inputs and it will give us one output. So here we have to pass the values. So for that I'm creating the data items here. Two data items and one for the result. So it's a number. It's a number. It's a result. Click on OK. Refresh, reset. Now I will give the values. So I am passing the numbers variable 1 from variable 2 from the main page, and it is going to give one outputs, right? So see, addition is my page. So it will replace the two inputs and it is going to give one output. So where you want to store the one output? In the result one. So no issues. I will explain you 2-3 times the same thing today. Okay, this is the very important thing. So refresh it, reset it. So now I will give the values here. Some 10 plus 10. So my result should be the 20. Correct? Refresh, reset, and run. 20. So now your requirement is to be, you want to pass the 3 variables. You want to pass the 3 variables. Now you are passing the 2 variables, right? So you want to pass one more variable. So for that, what you have to do, come to the addition page. So I'm taking one data item here. Number. I'm not giving any values. So these are the initial values I have given. So I'm deleting all the values. So if you give the values also, those will get replaced when we are calling the page. So here I'm adding one more variable, data 3, right? So here now this page is having only 2 inputs, right? Only 2 variables is accepting now. So I want to add one, correct? I want to add one more variable, right? We can add. So here naming conventions will be your wish. Okay, you can give any numbers. So I want to store the value in the data 3. Right now I am having data 1, data 2, data 3. 3 variables are there. Now refresh, go to main page and refresh. Click on addition page. Now see there is one more variable automatically created. If we create here data, if we create here variable, okay, directly that will get reflected in the main page. Okay, so whenever we call this page, so this page will require 3 inputs and it is going to give 1 output. Okay, you can't forcibly pass the variables. You have to create the variables, then only it will accept it. You have to create it here, then it will get reflected here. Right, one more data item I will take. Passing one more 10. Now it will work. 0 errors, run. So see here, so can't perform addition operation. Why? Because the right hand value is empty. Go to start. Okay, go to here main page. So here I'm not passing the value. That's why it's giving the empty. So I need to pass the value, right? So we have to do the addition whenever we have the value, right? So if there will be no value in the data item, then it will give an exception. So that's a value should be there. So refresh, reset, now run. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 10, 10, 10, 30. Okay. Okay, now I will create one more subpage for the multiplication.
I'm sorry, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so now, I mean, for example, a very simple scenario. On the sub page, you have created 3 data items. 10 plus 10 is equals to 20. That is a result. And if you want to export these results from sub page to the main page, for that you need to double click on the start, right? And then you will enter data 1 plus data 2. Is that correct?
Yes, this is my
But
logic.
yeah, so then we need to double click on the start button,
Yes.
and then we enter what did we enter? This variable 1 and variable 2, right?
Yes, so we are creating the variables. Okay, I'm creating my logic that this page will require certain inputs. Okay, what are the inputs you have? I want to have the 3 variables. So those 3 variables, I want to perform the addition of the 3 variables, and I want to pass 1 variable. Whenever you want to pass the variables, that variables you have to create in the end. Click on the end, and you can see here, get value from which value you want to pass it. I want to pass my result, so that's why I drag and drop the result. Okay, so you click on OK. Now you can come to the main page and double click on the page reference. You can see there's an inputs outputs condition. Inputs output condition. Input means whatever we have created in the start in the sub page, those are the inputs. Outputs means what the page is giving to us, so that is the result.
Okay, so it means you need to double click on the start to enter the inputs, and then you double click on end to integrate the output results, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What are the things you want, not the result? You want to pass all the variables, you can pass it. What are the normally, in the real time, we will create all the logics in the sub pages. Main page will be the high level flow should be there, and all the sub pages will be there. Why? Because in tomorrow, if you want to add some more functionality in addition, you can directly come here and you can add it, right? So no need to check all the code in the same main page. So now
and how did we create page reference for that? Where did we click?
So directly drag and drop the page reference stage. It will give the pop-up. So we already see here there are the 3 options are there. You want to create the page with the name specified here. Otherwise, now our case already created sub pages, right? So the first option, create a reference to an existing page. Yes, already existing page is there. That one I want to reference. So click on next and select the page. Finish like that.
Okay, so it means on the main page it gives it gives us a detail that on addition sub page the result is 20.
Correct.
So this is something which we got reflection on the main page.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But for example, if we have 2-3 sub pages, then
Yes.
every time we have to. But I want that everything should reflected on my main page. So 20, 30, 40. So it means every time we need to create page reference page, or it will automatically creates once I have created the page reference page.
So only now this will work for only addition subpage. So addition subpage, whatever the things you wanted, you can do it in the same these pages only. So you want
Okay.
to do some different operation like multiplication you want to perform, you have to create another subpage and you have to call it from the main page and they get the reference to it like same. So see, I will implement the multiplication.
So this is your sub page.
Yeah, subpage. This is
Okay,
called only
so
one main page, n number of subpages. Whatever we created after the main page is called subpage.
so now can I explain you how will you do? I'm just testing myself.
Yeah,
You
correct.
have to take three data items. One is data one,
Yes.
data two, and the third one is the result one, right?
Yes. So I want to three. Now I want two means two. So I want a three input side. So I will take the three data items and one for the result.
Okay.
Right. I will give the naming convention and all. So you can say data one, number data type, it should be the number. So data type you have to mention.
Okay.
Data two,
Two.
number.
Number. Data three.
Chilu, just sorry to interrupt. One question here. Does the name should be unique? Like we are again using data one, data two,
No,
and
no,
data.
no. It should be not unique. You can give whatever. You can give var one, var two, var three. You know, and number one, number two. Number should be the different. Why? Because these variables from the this page only. These variables from the this page only.
Okay,
These variables from this page like that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So here there is an option is there.
One more question. Can we call these data items from another page? Means can I use this data item from another page?
You can use it. So this the option is there. So see visibility hide from other pages in the process. If you uncheck this one, so these variables you can use it anywhere. But that is not a good practice.
So apart from this, can we use any other like collection? We can use that in different pages.
Yes,
Or
we
any-
will use it. Okay, in the
calculation stage or any stage.
correct. Because there is those variables called the global variables. Means only one place will declare and again all subpages we will use it. So that is also there and the future. I mean, next coming session you can come.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, I mean, you have created three data things. That is 1, 2, 3. So now we need to multiply these three boxes, right?
Right. Take a calculation stage. Double click on it. Data one multiply with the data two multiply with the data three and store the value in the result. Right. So see now I have created the page, but I haven't created any input parameters. I'm not getting any output parameters. See what will happen. So come to the main page. I will take the page reference. Some page reference stage. The multiplication. Click on finish. Double click on the multiplication. So there are nothing inputs are there, nothing outputs are there. Why there are nothing inputs, nothing outputs? So why? Because we haven't declared it. So if you want to pass it something, you want to create in the subpage. So come to the multiplication. This page will require. This page will require means only we have to pass it. From the main page, we can't forcibly pass the variables. If you want, if this page will require, if you created the input parameters, output parameters, then only we can able to pass it. So now I am creating the variables. 1, 2, 3. This will require three inputs, number, data type, and those values will come and store it in the same. And we have to pass the result. Okay, see here now, come to the multiplication. You can see there are inputs are there, but there are no outputs. It's not giving any output. So if you want to get the result, first you have to create that one in the end. Which one you want to pass it? So I want to pass the result. Right, so inputs data 3, 4, 5 results, and it will gonna give us one output. So that's an I want to store in the different data item. Why? Because this is for addition, right? So I want to create another variable for the subtraction. So I will create the variable here right away. MUL underscore result. So if you click here directly, the data item is going to be created. Click here, see created. Click on OK, refresh, reset, and run. Done. Questions?
Can we go to the main page? I mean, we are on the main page, right?
Yep.
So on the main page, can we create blocks? No,
Yeah, we can create.
we can create blocks because the reason why I'm asking, because it sometimes it is not give us a demarcation of addition, multiplication, and subtraction.
Yes.
Okay, so now I got it. So for example, if you are taken 3 variables, data 1, 2, 3, it means we need to add these 3 documents, right? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And then if we want to export to the main page, then we have to double click on the start and we create 3 variables. And then we need to create on end. And then we simply write a variable and then, result. And then MUL underscore result. So then it gives one result. That is a multiplication of the 3, right?
Yes.
Can you show me once the once you will can you double click on the end one more time, please?
Yeah. So
How did we write that command? That is something I want to see. Result and
get
then
value
result
from.
underscore.
So see here, get value from. So which one you want to pass it? So this is in the sub page, and the main page. Come to the outputs, and here I'm showing the result. So this multiplication sub page is giving one result. So where you want to store it? So you want to store it into the which data item? So you want to create the new one. Otherwise, no, you can create this. You can declare here directly. That will create the direct data item. Right.
No, but once we double click on, on the sub page, can we go to sub page? Yes. On sub page, can you click on the end?
Yep.
And then we need it is result, and then type is multiplication, get value from. Then we need to click on get value from.
Yes, get value. Not to click. So which one you want to pass it? So there are this which value the group of them doesn't know which one you are passing it, right? You are passing the number, the result. That doesn't know which one you are passing. So
then we have to click on result.
Not result. You have drag and drop it. Which one you want to pass it? So I want to pass the result to my main page.
Okay. And then we need to click on where?
Yeah. Okay. And you have to click on OK.
Need to click on OK.
Yeah.
We're done. Okay. And then we go to main page.
Yeah.
And then we got the results. But on the main page, again, did you type something like result?
Yeah, I typed but because I want to create a different data items. What I'm saying, we have another function, another direct functionality is there, like groupism, where suppose you want to create a data items, not this. Okay, these are the data items which you already having, right? Number data items. So you want to store the value in the different data items apart from this. So there are two ways are there, whether you can create the data item, you can pass it. Otherwise, here also you can directly create. You can create. Click here. So see here, there's a text is you can see. Click here to automatically create a data item of required type using the name in this field. So click here, so directly automatically create it. In that one, it will store the result. Now see, I'm running now.
That is something I think we need practice. I mean, at times
Yes, yes, yes,
we
yes.
skip the steps and all, but again, it is interesting.
So when you are going for object studio now, once you one click, automatically the browser will open. You can log in. You can do whatever you want. That will be more interesting on this object automation. You can automate Facebook. You can automate Gmail. You can automate anything, any website. So there are some limitations also there. So in the particular limitations, we can automate the application. Okay. So now I will explain you how to export a process. So that is the last concept today, how to export the process. So normally after you have done the coding, so you have to export your code to the testing tool, correct? So you will export the code, and after that you will export the code, and after that code you can put it in the Google Drive, or so you can put the code in the Google Drive, otherwise you can send a mail to the testing team, this depending upon the organization policies. So see how I will export the code. See, we have done this one. I want to export date to use case to 1703. So this one I want to export. So I want to share it to you guys. So how I will export? So click on file, export. See, there are two icons you can find here: process or object, and second one is the new release. Process or object means you can able to export only single process, otherwise you can able to export only single object, otherwise the new release. In the real time, every time we will create the new release. New release is nothing but which consists of projects, process studio, and object studio. Everything it will include. So suppose if you what are the process you have used, so I have used some environment variables. There is the next concept. Environment variables are there, credentials are there. I have used some VBOs, some Excel automation I'm doing, so Excel VBOs, so some more calculation VBOs. So everything will come. Okay. So how to release? Whenever you guys are releasing, so try to habituate to create the release. So click on new release. So select the first option, create another package for this release. Next. So these all you can able to export it. So click on the processes. That's 10. So this process I want to export it. Right click. Just drag and drop to right side. Just drag and drop to right side. And after that, just right click on the process and select dependencies. So if you have used any objects, so those things, everything will come here. Okay, if you are automatically, so if your process have used any objects, automatically those process will come to here. So for the next class, when we will gonna work on the Excel automation, so that time we have used the MS Excel VBO. So that VBO directly you can able to see it here by clicking the select dependencies. So click on add related items. So everything will come here. So after in this one, we haven't used any business objects, so nothing is there here. So click on next, give the name. Next, I will give some notes version. Next, and one path where you want to paste the one. So I want to paste the one in the desktop. Next, finish. Go to the desktop, refresh. You can see here we have given which name we have given. So day 1703 release file. So .bp release file. So this is also one of the important question. What is the extension of the release file? Extension of the release file is the .bp release. .bp release is the extension of the release file. Okay, this is also one of the important question. Any questions? So we have done with the basic operations. From next class onwards, Excel automations, we will try it out.
Can you do the release other option? You have to export that processing objects. Can you do that?
I didn't get you. Can we?
No. Can you did the release one, right?
Right.
Export.
Click
the export
file,
option.
export.
The release option.
Yeah, new release. We have to give the new release. And the
only
first
the processing object.
Only you want process. Only you want process only. Then export process or Object Studio. So which one you want to export? Only process. And next,
Yeah.
then batch. This one. Next. What is the name? The pop. So I want to test out. Save. Finish.
That's-
It will be there somewhere.
So that will have same extension as the BP release.
No, that is .xml. That is .xml. You can see it here. See this or this one or this. So see, these are the objects only. So this is separate one. So you can see that extension is the .xml.
Okay.
XML. Okay. So next, and here you can see there are some videos you can import. Okay, importing nothing but, so if I want to work on the Excel, so there is these are the VBOs. Okay, these are the VBOs which are created, and there are some VBOs which Blueprint is providing by default. Okay, you can see MS Excel VBO is there. See, these all are the actions MS Excel VBO will contains. Means everything we can able to do with these actions. Blueprint already they have coded in the backend and they are giving to us. Just we have to use the functionalities. No need to write any code. Just we have to use the functionalities. Okay. So for the first time, when you are using the tool, those won't be there here. The Object Studio is empty for you guys. So what happened? Go to File, Import, Browse, and go to the C drive, Program Files, Blueprint Limited, Blueprint Automate, VBO. Here, these are the VBOs which Blueprint is giving by default. So MS Excel VBO is there here. So click on MS Excel VBO, then open. Next, it's already there, so it's doing the pop-up. So next, so like that you have to import the VBOs. Required VBOs one by one will be there. There are some 8 to 9 VBOs we are going to use it. So depending upon the functionality, you have to take. MS Excel VBO to interact with MS Excel. MS Word VBO to interact with the MS Word. Calculation manipulation VBO will be used for the doing operations on the calculation nothing collection nothing but if now we are storing the data in the data item, right? That is a single set of data. If you want to store the multiple set of data, you have to take the collection. Single set of data can be stored in the data item, multiple set of data can be stored in the collection. Okay, you can see it here. This is called the collection, which holds the multiple set of data. So it can store the multiple set of data. So what the Excel data is there now, so we will import the Excel data to the collection, then we will work on the same. And depending upon the use, we're gonna use one. This is for POP3 SMTP for sending the mail purpose.
Excuse me.
Yep.
I have one query here.
Yep.
So these VBOs are custom built VBOs or it's available over the internet? We can directly download these.
No, it's already there in the whenever you install the Blue Prism, these are automatically be created.
Okay.
Go to the C drive, program files, Blue Prism Limited. This is already there. They're already given by the Blue Prism itself.
Okay, this comes bundled with the project product itself.
Correct. Directly it will, when you install a software, this already comes with you. No need to do any coding. Okay, guys, please try to install the software, and I will share you one document where there is having set up. There are small use cases will be there. So try to create the process. Okay, one use case, create one process. Like this is your blueprint. This is your process, right? So right click on create a folder first. So why I'm telling to create a folder means when I am importing your code, so there are lots of codes are there. So I will get confused. So if you give your name, so see Chait is one of the students. So she has given the name. So if you give the name, so it will be very easy for me to check your code. Okay, right click on this, create a process like that for every use case, create all the processes and share with me. And any questions are there, please ping me personally, no issues. I will do respond it. And end of the day, I will add you guys into one more group where you guys can post your questions. If I'm not available, there are some teammates out there, they will gonna respond.
One query, please.
Yeah.
see here what we have the if I look at the current setup, so this is the client server. Here we
Correct.
have the client as well. We have the server running on the same machine itself.
Yes.
Okay. So as per actual runtime, we must be having a separate servers on which we will be going to run our defined processes, right?
Yes. Yes.
How we will be going to debug that process in production? Let's suppose in case of any error comes in the process
Yeah.
itself.
So
Then
now,
how do we debug such kind of things?
yeah. So what happened? So testing team will have here, control room is a place where we will run the bot and where testing team will test our bot. Okay. Whenever you have done the object, whenever you have done the coding, so see there is an option called here. See there is a publish this to control room, right? So you have to click here, this one, click on OK. Then you can able to see this process in the control room. Okay. Now these available resources are there. Now these are available processes are there. So you will just drag and drop the process, or what the testing team will do, there the VMs will be there. So they will just drag and drop the processes. Okay. After drag and dropping the processor, there is a one more row is going to generate here. So right, they will just right click on it. You can see start, immediate stop, request stop, delete, view process, startup parameters, and view log. So they will click on the start and they will run the process. Okay. After running the process, there is a status is there, right? So if you are running, it will show the running. So after completed, it will show completed. If there is an exception is there, it will give the terminated. Okay. When it got terminated, what the testing team will do, they will just right click on it. There is a view lag is there. View lag is a place where there is a document. Okay. Just if you click on this one, there is a document will open. They will save the document and they will share it to us. Okay, the testing, the developer will check the document and then he will do the bug fixing again, and again he will release the code.
Okay, so this applies to testing. Okay, so I'm talking about the production, direct production. So can we view each and every instance that is being executed in the production so that we can view the log files of each particular instance that has been executed over there?
Yes, in the production also same. In the production also, the setup will be different. Okay, the production setup is completely different. Okay, so here there will be there is no access for the studio in the production. Only control room is there, only system is there. Okay, and the release manager also there. In the control room, there is separate VM configured for the production. So they will do scheduling. Scheduling means suppose we are drag and dropping directly, right? So in the real time, what we will do, we will create a one schedule. Scheduling nothing but on the particular time, on the particular date, so that time it has to run. Like that, we'll give some timings. That is depending upon the client. That is actually, this comes under completely testing team because we don't have any knowledge, but I will give you the knowledge. In the interview also, there are some people will ask about the scheduling and that. So they will do schedule like, see here, I will open one schedule.
So if you want to run your process at a particular interval or date or whatever the time.
Correct. So that time you have to schedule it.
So you mean to say, let's suppose, just take an example of production system. One process which will read the Excels and process the data and insert it to somebody, some database or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So for every particular Excel read, you mean to say there will be one line item corresponding to each particular instance. Is it so?
Yes.
Okay. So then we'll be able to track that particular instance.
Yes. We can able to find out that particular instance and everything. We can able to see here. Okay, when you're running, if you open the VLOG, everything you can see. What is happening in the first stage? What happened in the next stage? What is the name of the stage? Everything you can able to see. But document, I will show you the document of VLOG, one of the VLOG file of my project, so that you guys can able to understand.
Okay. Thank
you. Any other questions?
Yeah, so for practice sake, where do we need to go and log our cases which we will create as a practice?
So come to the studio and you will create right click on it, first create a group. Okay, in the group you will give your name, create a group, give the name. Okay, then right click on the group, create a process, give the name, use case 1 for example. Next, finish. Now double click on it, you will see the environment. Here you will practice it and save it. Control is for the saving. Control yes. So you have to save it, otherwise it won't get. So control save and give it some name. So save it. Okay, after completing it, if you want to share me, click on file, export, new release, create another package for this release, then come to the process and drag and drop your process. And then next. And give the name so it will come to me.
Probably I will practice, and if I forgot that link, then I will ask this question again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Bye.
So you will be sharing the assignments through the email?
No, there's a video and assignment. I will put in the one. Shared drive will be there, which Prem is sharing. So already I have the link. So he will mail you the. Already he mailed you, I think so. There is a Google Drive link is there. So he shared you already. So go to that one. There everything will be there. Videos, documents. So everything will be there.
Okay, like we only received the link for the
use case
Blue Prism installation.
at least और at least 8-10 यूज केस ये बताए इसमें
So, sorry, bro.
जनरली होते हैं.
Hello. Yeah. Yep. Pankaj, you're saying something. Pankaj or Vishwanath.
Hey, yeah. So like as of right now, we have received only the email from Prem regarding the Blue Prism installation, and in that drive, like it is only there. Only we have, I think.
Okay. So I will ask
files
him
that
to
are
share.
needed for the installation.
Correct. Vishwanath, and in chapter and okay, so he will do share, no issues. He'll mail you.
Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Good night.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Hey, Chillu.
Yes.
Sorry, Rohit here. I just wanted to help with that Blue Prism with 32-bit software.
So yes, bro. Yeah. I will do one thing. In the same Google link, I will paste the software.
Okay. You have got that link, right? Which
I will having. So I will now right away, after within half an hour, I'm going to upload this use case document as well as this software and the video.
Yes, please. That would be great.
Yeah.
Are you available under the same group in which Prem added us?
Yes. I will be available.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.